Welcome to all the participants who have taken the time out and joined the session. मैं सभी participants जो जिन्होंने join किया है उनका thank you करना चाहूँगा. We'll just wait a few minutes. There are a lot of participants who are joining. We'll just wait for a few seconds and then start the session. Yeah, thank you to all the participants for having taken the time out. So आज का जो session है वो derivatives के ऊपर है. Please do note that we'll be keeping the session a mix of English and Hindi so that all the participants are able to engage in the session today. And please do note that session खत्म होते ही end में हमारा एक Q&A session भी रहेगा. So participants who have any questions regarding the session also, we'll be more than happy to take your queries. But please do note that questions सभी session के regarding ही रखिए. That will be easy for us as well. So without wasting any time, let's get started with today's session. तो आज का जो सेशन है वो डेरिवेटिव्स के ऊपर है. डेरिवेटिव्स में भी काफ़ी सारे इंडिकेटर्स है, मींस डेटा पॉइंट्स जो है. सो व्हेन यू आर ट्रेडिंग इन दी मार्केट, आप टेक्निकल चार्ट्स भी देख सकते हैं, डेरिवेटिव चार्ट्स भी देख सकते हैं, वाई एनालिसिस कर सकते हैं. मींस इट इज़ इफ यू मेक यूज ऑफ डेरिवेटिव्स एंड टेक्निकल्स, we always believe that it gives you an additional advantage instead of just trading on one singular footing. अगर आप सिर्फ price action देख रहे हो, then you can combine derivative data as well. And in today's session, we'll be seeing how we can make use of two very useful derivative indicators. We'll be also talking about option Greeks. तो मेन पार्ट विल बी कवरिंग डेटा जो डेरिवेटिव का है, हाउ टू एनालाइज इट एंड हाउ टू सी where you can come up with good trades and how you can make use of the derivative data. That is the major part of the session. And end में एक बार हम लोग ऑप्शन ग्रीक्स के बारे में भी थोड़ा डिस्कस करेंगे. Why it is important to understand the basic option Greeks. We'll not go into the complex part of it, but the absolute basic जो डेल्टा और थीटा है, at least that should be known by all the traders who are trading in the derivative segment. सो फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट जो है, वी हैव टू फॉर्म अ व्यू. तो व्यू बनाने के लिए इट इज़ द मोस्ट, इट मे लुक एज अ वेरी सिंपल थिंग, बट फ्रेमिंग अ व्यू ऑन द मार्केट इज एक्सट्रीमली चैलेंजिंग, टेकिंग द डायनामिक नेचर ऑफ द मार्केट. अगर आप आज का भी सेशन देखोगे बैंक निफ्टी का, एनीवन हु वाज सिटिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ द स्क्रीन would have clearly seen that how challenging it is. Bank Nifty was moving almost 300-400 points within just 10-15 minutes. That's the type of volatility that we are seeing. It is good also for scalpers. जो scalper रहते हैं, who is a 5 minute 10 minute type of trader, it is a good environment. But for positional traders, it becomes extremely challenging because even if you keep a deep stop loss, the movement in the market is such that it is quite challenging. So in such scenarios also, if you are a trader, you have to trade, and framing the view is the most important thing. तो व्यू बनाने के लिए यू कैन मेक यूज ऑफ द चार्ट्स. तो चार्ट्स जो है, दैट इज द बेसिक फाउंडेशन ऑफ टेक्निकल एनालिसिस. जो हम लोग प्राइस एक्शन को ऑब्जर्व करते हैं, दैट इज फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. बाय एनालाइजिंग द चार्ट्स यू कैन फ्रेम अ व्यू ऑन द मार्केट. That is the first part. Along with the price action, you can validate your view. अगर आप डेरिवेटिव का भी डेटा देखते हैं, it helps in validating your view. We'll be looking at how you can make use of the derivative data in terms of adding to your price action view on the market. And last, पहले first you make a view, then you make use of the derivative data. Data क्या बता रहा है? What is the data indicating to you? What is the overall bullishness or bearishness in the market based on the derivative data? So that is the second part of the analysis. And the last part is taking the actual position. आपको अगर derivatives में trade करना है, even though you have a bullish view, you have to come up with a strategy that you are going to take a long only position, that is a direct naked call option, या फिर आप spread के तौर पे अपना position build up करोगे, या फिर एक put option sell करोगे. That is how you, the third thing is also very important, the type of method to play out your view. See, it is just not that you have a bullish view that you directly have to buy a call option or you have to sell a put option. There are a lot of other strategies also that you can play out based on the view that you hold on the market. So that is for another session. We already cover a lot of sessions where we speak about the various derivative strategies based on the market view. So that part will not be covering in today's session. What we'll be focusing in today, mainly in today's session, is how to confirm your view along with the derivative data in the market. So generally, this is the broad understanding. Agar this is the broad, these are some of the terminologies that you should know. That if there is call unwinding, agar these are before going into the depth of today's session. This is just I just want to highlight so that everyone is clear with what I am explaining. So if there is call unwinding, it basically means there is bullish momentum which is expected in the market. The reason for this is जो हम लोग ऑप्शन एनालिसिस करते हैं ऑप्शन चेन का, इट इज फ्रॉम द सेलर्स पर्सपेक्टिव, जिसने ऑप्शन सेल किया है. So we analyze all the OI data from a seller's perspective. The reason being the seller of an option has invested significantly high capital to take a position in the market. And since that is the reason, the analysis level also is expected to be on the higher side from the seller of an option. So he's taking a much more calculated risk. That is what is believed in the market. And that is why the analysis generally, अगर आप कोई भी major analysis देखोगे option data में, it is done on the basis of the seller of an option. तो अगर call में unwinding हो रहा है, the person who has sold the call options is basically closing out his position. जिसने पहले call options बेचे थे, वो अपना positions अभी बंद कर रहा है. That is what is basically meant by call unwinding. What you mean by put unwinding is the person who has sold the put options is now closing out that particular trade. So that is a bearish indication. अगर उसको लग रहा है कि मार्केट इधर से गिर सकता है, that is why the seller of a put option will close his existing position. So that is known as put unwinding. The next thing is PCR so acts as सपोर्ट एंड रेजिस्टेंस. मतलब पीसीआर जो है इंडिविजुअल स्ट्राइक प्राइस का, अगर आप पीसीआर कैलकुलेट करोगे पुट कॉल रेशियो, तो मान लो अभी मार्केट 22,000 लेवल्स के आसपास चल रहा है, 21,800 22,000 लेवल्स के आसपास चल रहा है. सो इफ यू कैलकुलेट द पीसीआर, नंबर ऑफ पुट ऑप्शन सोल्ड डिवाइडेड बाय द नंबर ऑफ कॉल ऑप्शन सोल्ड फॉर एन इंडिविजुअल स्ट्राइक, यू विल बेसिकली मोर और लेस कम टू नो कि उस पर्टिकुलर स्ट्राइक प्राइस में ज्यादा बुलिशनेस है, बेरिशनेस है, बेस्ड ऑन द पीसीआर फिगर. If there are more option sellers, that is on the call side, it basically means it is acting as a resistance level. If it is the PCR is higher than 1, that means there are more put option sellers compared to call option sellers. That means it should act as a support. So this is the broad understanding of the terminologies. I hope everyone has a good understanding of what I just explained. This will help you understand the concepts that I will discuss in the next few slides. So see, the market is extremely challenging. There are many times when the market will open gap up or gap down, but what we have the challenge is how do we trade the market once the market has actually opened. So if the opening is flat, and then we have to track the OI data. See, this OI data is basically tracked based on the NSE option chain. जो NSE के option chain में data है, basically that's what we track. You have to open it once before around 9:15 and see what is the existing positions in the market, and then gradually as the day progresses you have to keep on monitoring it and observing what is the additional positions which are being formed in the derivative segment. So if there is a flat opening in the market and there is aggressive put writing which is being seen in the at the money and the near at the money strike prices, that is a bullish indication. So the reason for this is जो traders है उनका एक्सपेक्टेशन ये है कि मार्केट ये लेवल से भी ओपन होने के बाद भले एक फ्लैट ओपनिंग हुआ है, देयर इज अ वेरी गुड चांस दैट द मार्केट्स कुड रिवर्स फ्रॉम दीज करंट लेवल्स. So that is why there is aggressive put writing which takes place. And the strategy that you can consider once you observe this particular data and you confirm it with your price action is to buy on dips. जब भी आपको एक opportunity मिल सकता है, you can consider to take a long position in the market. That is one type of observation that we have. The next is if there is a flat opening और उसके बाद अगर एग्रेसिव कॉल राइटिंग हो रहा है, जैसे कि आज के स्टार्ट में इन द फर्स्ट 10-15 minutes post the opening, once there was a dip, there was aggressive call writing which was observed. So that is an indication that traders are expecting that there could be a further correction. See, they can go right, they can go wrong, that's a different thing. But you have to observe the type of positions being made by the option sellers, because it gives you a good indication. It may not be always right or always wrong, but it gives you an added card to play when you're trading in the market. So आपके additionally with your price action analysis, derivative analysis gives you the additional comfort to take positions in the market. और काफी बार क्या होता है, देर इज अ शार्प गैप अप ओपनिंग, यू डू नॉट नो आफ्टर दैट व्हाट यू शुड डू, whether to go ahead with your trade. It looks very simple, 100-150 point opening, and at the end of the day the markets are 300 points up. But even those type days are quite challenging, because post the gap up opening you do not know whether the markets could come down or there can be a continuation of the rally. So in these scenarios you once again check the OI data on regular intervals. गैप अप ओपनिंग होने के बाद भी आप देखो कि एग्रेसिव कॉल राइटिंग हो रहा है या एग्रेसिव पुट राइटिंग हो रहा है. सो लाइकवाइज इफ देयर इज एग्रेसिव कॉल राइटिंग पोस्ट द गैप अप ओपनिंग, दैट मीन्स दैट द ट्रेडर्स आर एक्सपेक्टिंग दैट द करंट ट्रेंड जो गैप अप ओपन हुआ है, देयर कैन बी अ कंटिन्यूएशन ऑफ द मोमेंटम ऑन द अपसाइड. So in these scenarios also you can consider to take long positions whenever there is a buying opportunity. Likewise, अगर एक गैप अप ओपनिंग होने के बाद एग्रेसिव कॉल राइटिंग हो रहा है, that means that the traders are not expecting any continuation of the momentum on the upside. So that is the reason there is aggressive call writing which is being witnessed, and can give an indication that there could be a slight correction in the next few minutes or so. So it is important to observe the OI data. It gives you a good understanding of how traders are taking a position in the market. So this is the OI chart of today. This particular slide has been taken at approximately 3 p.m. So you can see that there was aggressive call writing. Call writing जो है वो left hand side पे है, and the positions which are there on the right hand side, those are all the put option positions. So I have highlighted and mentioned also. So you can see that today somewhere closer towards 21,850 is where the markets are currently in terms of cash position. And in terms of futures also, it is somewhere between 21,850 and 21,900 where the futures are. So you can clearly see कि जो strike price है 21,900, उसमें almost the figure is extremely large. So it clearly indicates that there is a large resistance at the 21,900 strike. और कल जो expiry है, अगर उसके ऊपर market start होता है, there is a start about 21,900, and there is a rally on the upside, then there could be considerable short covering in this particular strike price. So this will be one important strike price to track in tomorrow's session. Likewise 21,800 का strike price भी काफी बड़ा OI development हुआ है till the time the markets closed. So because there was a recovery, see in the initial part there was a dip below 21,800, but then there was a smart recovery in the market wherein Nifty, Bank Nifty, both of them recovered and managed to close the day on a relatively flat note. तो अगर at the current juncture कल के expiry के हिसाब से these are the two main strike prices that we should keep track of: 21,800 on the downside and 21,900 on the upside. The major event आज के day में we have a major event which will play out in the latter part of the day, जो है फेड का इंटरेस्ट रेट पॉलिसी. सी फेड के इंटरेस्ट रेट पॉलिसी में मोर और लेस एवरीवन नोज दैट दिस पर्टिकुलर फेड इवेंट could be a non event. मतलब फेड विल नॉट गो टू टिंकर विद द इंटरेस्ट रेट, मतलब इंटरेस्ट रेट चेंज नहीं होगा. दैट इज व्हाट इज बेसिकली द मेन व्यू दैट द मार्केट होल्ड्स एट द करंट जंक्चर. बट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज द कॉमेंट्री. जो फेड एक कॉमेंट्री भी देता है इसके साथ साथ, दैट इज व्हाट द मार्केट ऑलवेज वेट्स. मतलब व्हाट इज द व्यू ऑफ द फेड कि आगे जाके इंटरेस्ट रेट कम होने का चांस है या नहीं, or whether they are going to continue with this interest rate scenario for a much longer period of time. So that is what the entire market keeps waiting for, and based on that there could be sharp price action in tomorrow's trading session. तो कल के सेशन में अगर एक गैप अप ओपनिंग होता है above the levels of 21,900, 930 levels, and we are able to sustain in the first half an hour or 1 hour of trade, then there could be significant short covering which could happen in the 21,900 call option. Likewise, अगर कल एक गैप डाउन होता है and the market starts the day below 21,800 on the downside, then there could be pressure which could be seen in trade tomorrow. So the trend is not known, but once the because it was an extremely choppy trading day, there was no clear momentum on either side of the market. So it's tough to predict the absolute trend what will occur in tomorrow's trading session. But as a scalper, as a intraday trader, you should not be worried much about how the markets will open or how the trend will play out. It is once the market gives you the direction, it is up to you how you play it out. Framing a view that आज मंदी ही होगा, आज तेजी ही होगा, it's a futile effort. Very few are good at that particular thing. It is better to focus your energy on how the markets actually move post the opening, and let the market decide the trend. You just have to follow what the indications that the market is giving. So this is once again a pictorial representation of the OI data. तो आप क्लियरली देख सकते हैं ऊपर के साइड में जो एडिशन हुए थे, कॉल राइटिंग जो हुई थी वो 21,900 और 22,000 के स्ट्राइक प्राइसेस में हुए थे, एंड नीचे के स्ट्राइक प्राइसेस में अगर आप देखोगे जो मैक्सिमम एडिशन हुआ था आज के ट्रेडिंग सेशन में वो 21,700 और 21,800 के पुट ऑप्शंस में है. That means it is still not a clear view. It's a mixed bunch. So tomorrow's price action in the initial part of the day should decide whether we should move on the upside or on the downside. And if there is no major event, we could consolidate as well between 21,700 on the downside and 22,000 on the upside. It's a broad range of 300 points. The narrower range is about 21,800 on the downside and 21,940 around on the upside. So like I mentioned, जो ऑप्शन चेंज जो रहता है उसमें आपको देखना है कि कौन से स्ट्राइक प्राइस पे, अगर कॉल ऑप्शन के साइड पे मैक्सिमम ओआई जो डेवलप हुआ है वो कौन से स्ट्राइक प्राइस पे है, एंड द स्ट्राइक प्राइस वेयर द मैक्सिमम ओआई हैज डेवलप एक्ट्स एज द रेजिस्टेंस जोन. जो मैंने पहले भी कहा था, कॉल ऑप्शन साइड पे जो मैक्सिमम ओआई जो डेवलपमेंट होता है दैट शुड बी टेकन एज द रेजिस्टेंस जोन, एंड टू दैट पर्टिकुलर स्ट्राइक प्राइस जो स्ट्राइक है उसका एवरेज प्रीमियम को भी आपको जोड़ना पड़ेगा. तो लगभग मान लो कि 21,900 के स्ट्राइक में मैक्सिमम ओआई है, तो आपको लास्ट फ्यू डेज का एवरेज प्राइस एक्शन का प्रीमियम का प्राइस एक्शन भी जोड़ना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज दैट्स द एवरेज प्राइस एट विच द मैक्सिमम call option writers have sold their position. So about 21,920, 940, 960 ये रेंज एक है जिसमें मैक्सिमम एक्टिविटी हुई है लास्ट 3-4 दिन से. So if there is a sharp surge in trade tomorrow above the levels of 21,940, 21,960 levels, then there could be short covering in the market on the upside. Likewise put option में भी जो स्ट्राइक में मैक्सिमम पुट ऑप्शन डेवलपमेंट हुआ है उसका भी पुट ऑप्शन का एवरेज प्राइस को आपको माइनस करना है. सी कॉल ऑप्शन के साइड पे आपको एवरेज प्रीमियम को जोड़ना है, जो एक्शन स्ट्राइक प्राइस का एवरेज प्रीमियम है, यू हैव टू ऐड इट टू द स्ट्राइक प्राइस, while on the put side you have to minus it. मतलब आपको एवरेज प्राइस ऑफ द लास्ट फ्यू ट्रेडिंग डेज कैलकुलेट करना है. few softwares readily provided, but even though if you take the average premium और निफ्टी का ऑप्शन चेन को भी देख के आपको अंदाजा आ जाएगा what is the average premium what has been traded through the day, and then you minus it through the strike price. जो आप maximum put option writing देख रहे हो वो strike price से माइनस करना है. that will be your support zone. So suppose we take 21,800 as the strike price which has the highest OI on the put side, and you minus the average premium. So 21,770, 21,750 will act as the support zone for the market. I hope I was clear in explaining this particular slide. It's important to understand how the OI actually acts as support and resistance levels in the market. It's not just the absolute strike price. It is the strike price plus the premium for call options which acts as the resistance, and it is the average premium of that particular strike price minus the strike price. मतलब 21,800 minus the average premium, that is your support zone, 21,900 plus the average premium, that is your resistance zone. Now let us move forward towards an example that we had seen and why tracking the OI data is very important. So ये जो example है, this is from last month series wherein there was sharp rally in Bank Nifty. So I'll just explain this particular trade. We had captured the OI data. I've used the same example in today's slide as well. सी जो OI डेटा जो है वो 20th फरवरी का है, लगभग 12 बजे के आसपास. देयर वर अ लॉट ऑफ ट्रेडर्स इन द मार्केट जिनका व्यू था कि निफ्टी 46,500 के नीचे ही रहेगा. एंड अगर आप देखोगे ये सारे ट्रेडर्स ने काफ़ी सारे शॉर्ट पोजीशंस बनाए थे मार्केट में, स्पेशली 46,500 के कॉल में. दे हैड सोल्ड दोस पोजीशंस. नाउ वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड एवरीथिंग इन डेरिवेटिव डेटा, दैट इज वी आर एनालाइजिंग इट फ्रॉम द सेलर्स पर्सपेक्टिव. तो इन द इनिशियल पार्ट, जो डे का इनिशियल पार्ट है, आप चार्ट देखोगे तो आपको एक बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग रहेगा. सो जो डे का इनिशियल पार्ट है उसमें एक साइडवेज कंसोलिडेशन हुआ था एंड देन देयर वाज अ करेक्शन ऑन द डाउन साइड. तो जो जिन्होंने भी सेलिंग किया था ऑप्शन का, देयर व्यू आल्सो गॉट मोर और लेस सपोर्टेड विद देयर पोजीशंस. तो देयर वाज अ करेक्शन ऑफ ऑलमोस्ट 200-300 पॉइंट्स इन द इनिशियल पार्ट ऑफ द डे. द ट्रेडर्स गॉट कॉन्फिडेंट एंड दे सोल्ड मोर कॉल ऑप्शंस. Then post 12 p.m. there was a sharp rally in the market. तो बैंक निफ्टी ऑलमोस्ट रैलीड फ्रॉम 46,300 के लेवल से 600-700 पॉइंट की रैली आई मार्केट में. एंड द इंडेक्स विटनेस्ड अ ब्रेकआउट अबाउ इट्स रेजिस्टेंस जोन एंड कंटिन्यू टू ट्रेंड हायर. तो जिन्होंने भी शॉर्ट पोजीशंस बिल्ड किए थे, नाउ इफ यू हैड ऑब्जर्व द ओआई डेटा यू वुड हैव गुड अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट 46,500 के कॉल ऑप्शन, 46,700 के कॉल ऑप्शन में एग्रेसिव कॉल राइटिंग देखी गई थी पूरे दिन में. एंड वंस दीज पर्टिकुलर लेवल्स वर ब्रीच्ड विद हेवी वॉल्यूम्स, द ट्रेडर्स गॉट नर्वस. जिन्होंने भी कॉल ऑप्शंस बेचे थे, दे वर स्लाइटली ऑन द नर्वस साइड. दे हैड टू क्लोज आउट देयर पोजीशंस बिकॉज इट वाज सच अ स्विफ्ट रैली दैट द मार्केट्स रैलीड मोर देन 600 पॉइंट्स in just about an hour or two. So if you are tracking price action along with OI data, you will come to know where the traders are actually trapped. तो कौन से strike prices में traders actually trapped हो चुके रहेंगे. And that is how you can make use of this OI data to validate your view and to continue building long positions. You know that someone has got trapped, so you know that the markets will not be easy for them. And the exact same thing happened. There was a breakout above the resistance levels where the traders had sold aggressively, and there is where you can create positions and gain swift money in the market. Now once we have understood the option chain, which is the first part, we can look at PCR. PCR जो है gives an absolute understanding or an understanding of actually में जो positions जो built up हुए option chain में, what it basically indicates or infers to us through a mathematical calculation. We can calculate the PCR and come out with the data which indicates whether जो पोजीशंस एक्चुअल बिल्ड हुए, मैक्सिमम पोजीशंस पुट साइड पे हैं या फिर कॉल साइड पे हैं, एंड व्हाट इज द व्यू ऑफ दोस ट्रेडर्स. दिस वी कैन कम टू नो बाय पीसीआर. पीसीआर इज नथिंग बट पुट कॉल रेशियो. तो इसमें हमको क्या करना है, हमको एब्सोल्यूट वैल्यू जो टोटल पुट ऑप्शंस है एक वीकली एक्सपायरी का, वी हैव टू कैलकुलेट द ओआई ऑफ पुट ऑप्शंस डिवाइडेड बाय द ओआई ऑफ द कॉल ऑप्शंस. तो काफ़ी ट्रेडर्स क्या करते हैं, जो एट द मनी स्ट्राइक प्राइस है उसके नज़दीक के टॉप 5 पुट ऑप्शन सिलेक्ट करते हैं एंड टॉप 5 कॉल ऑप्शन सिलेक्ट करते हैं एंड इसका ओआई कैलकुलेट करते हैं. सम ऑफ देम टेक ऑल द स्ट्राइक प्राइसेस एंड कैलकुलेट द पीसीआर, एंड देन देयर आर सम हु विल जस्ट कैलकुलेट इट फॉर द एट द मनी स्ट्राइक प्राइस. तो वो आपके ऊपर है, आपको कैसे कैलकुलेट करना है पीसीआर को, बट मोर और लेस इट गिव्स यू द सेम पिक्चर. So let us go forward and understand the mathematical calculation. उसके बाद मैं उसके interpretation को भी मैं I will try to explain it, so you get a good understanding of what I am actually trying to say. So put call ratio जो हम लोग बार बार कह रहे हैं, it is nothing but the total put options of the current expiry divided by the total call options of the current expiry. ये अगर आप एनएससी के ऑप्शन चेन में भी अगर आप जाओगे, एट द एंड ऑफ द ऑप्शन चेन, नीचे एब्सोल्यूट नीचे में, यू विल बी एबल टू सी दी ओआई ऑफ पुट ऑप्शंस एंड यू विल बी एबल टू सी दी ओआई ऑफ कॉल ऑप्शंस. आपको कुछ नहीं करना है, ये दोनों फिगर को सिर्फ डिवाइड करना है, पुट ऑप्शन का ओआई डिवाइडेड बाय कॉल ऑप्शन का ओआई. So you will more or less get a figure between 0.9 and 1.1. ये general figure रहता है. Most of the time the option chain has this particular data. That means there is an equal amount of call writers and put writers in the market. अगर लगभग 0.9 और 1.1 के बीच में है, the number of call option writers is similar to the number of put option writers. Now take the scenario that this particular figure is less than 0.7. When will this figure be less than 0.7? When there are more call writers compared to the put option writers, that is when the figure will be below 1. जब भी डिनोमिनेटर न्यूमरेटर से बड़ा रहेगा तभी ये फिगर 1 के नीचे रहेगा. If the numerator is bigger than the denominator, the figure will be more than 1. That is simple mathematical calculation. So if the figure is below 0.7, that is when there is aggressive call writing which is happening in the market. जो आज का भी अगर आप current scenario में देखोगे, निफ्टी का PCR is more or less closer towards 0.54, 0.6. मतलब ये पॉइंट पे भी there is aggressive call writing in comparison to put option writing. मतलब ट्रेडर्स का थोड़ा मंदी के साइड पे ज्यादा व्यू है in terms of the absolute view or the positional view in the market. मतलब ट्रेडर्स ने ज्यादा कॉल ऑप्शन बेचे हैं इन कंपैरिजन टू पुट ऑप्शंस. So that is why we have a figure closer towards 0.6, 0.54 at the current juncture. If you get a figure above 1.2, that means there is more put options which are sold in comparison to call options. So that the reason for this is the numerator is larger than the denominator. Only in such a scenario will you will get that a figure of greater than 1.2. That means the view is slightly on the bullish side. मतलब जब भी put option writing aggressive हो रहा है, that means that the traders have a view that the markets can move on the upside. That is why they are doing aggressive writing of put options in comparison to call options. So that is the broad understanding of PCR. If the figure is more than 1.2, 1.3 levels, that means there is aggressive put writing which is there in the market. Traders expect the trend to continue on the upside, and that is why they do aggressive put writing. Likewise, if the figure is less than 0.7, it means that there is aggressive call writing which is there in the market, and traders expect the trend to continue on the downside. So this is how you can make use of the PCR to calculate the trend in the market या फिर direction that the traders expect in the short term. Now, along with this PCR calculation, you should also see the trend of this PCR. तो मान लो कि PCR starting में of the week it was closer towards 1.2 and थोड़ा price correction हो जाता है market में and the figure of PCR keeps on gradually reducing on the downside. मतलब नीचे की तरफ आने लगता है. That means the trend in the market is reversing from bullish towards bearish. That is why there is more aggressive call writing which is happening, and that is why the figure is coming down from levels of around 1.2 towards levels of 0.5, 0.45 levels on the downside. Likewise, if the OI is increasing from 1, अगर 1 पे है at the start of the week and gradually there is an increase in OI towards the upside, that is the PCR towards the upside towards 1.5, 1.4 levels, that means there is aggressive put writing which is taking place in the market, which is taking the PCR figure from levels closer towards 1 towards 1.5 on the upside. So the trend of the PCR is also important to understand. Traders who are regularly tracking the OI data keep track of the trend of the PCR as well. तो मान लो कि आपको मालूम है आज का PCR का वैल्यू, but if you plot a chart of the trend of the PCR, you will get a much better understanding of where the market and how the market trend is actually playing out. Now moving on to a very important topic, that is option Greeks. तो इसके बारे में भी मैं थोड़ा टाइम लेना चाहूँगा, बिकॉज एनीवन हु इज ट्रेडिंग इन इंडेक्स ऑप्शंस शुड हैव अ बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द ऑप्शन ग्रीक्स. ये सुनने में थोड़ा कॉम्प्लेक्स लगेगा, बट आई विल एक्सप्लेन इट इन अ वेरी सिंपल मैनर. मैं दो ऑप्शन ग्रीक्स के बारे में एक्सप्लेन करना चाहूँगा. देर आर अ टोटल ऑफ 5 ऑप्शन ग्रीक्स विच आर देयर. ये सारे जो है एक फैक्टर्स रहते हैं. ऑप्शन का प्राइस जो है, ऑप्शन प्राइस मूवमेंट रहता है मार्केट में, दीज आर द फैक्टर्स विच कॉज द एक्चुअल प्राइस चेंज और द रीजन फॉर द प्राइस चेंज ऑफ द ऑप्शंस. अलग अलग फैक्टर्स है ये, और हर एक का इंडिविजुअल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स है. लेकिन जो सबसे मेन इंपॉर्टेंट है, दैट इज डेल्टा एंड थीटा. फर्स्ट we'll understand these two. We'll also have a complete session on option Greeks, but in today's session I'll like to cover these two option Greeks. So first we'll move forward to understand. I'll just explain all 5 of them in one liners. What does each one actually represent before moving forward? So delta basically, जो delta है, these are all factors once again जो option के price के movement को affect करते हैं. So delta basically tells the rate of change of an option price. तो अगर निफ्टी 100 पॉइंट से ऊपर जाता है तो आपका ऑप्शन प्राइस कितना फास्ट चेंज होगा, व्हाट इज द रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ योर ऑप्शन प्राइस, is basically conveyed by delta. Delta tells you the rate of change of your option price. The next is gamma, which is another factor. This basically tells the rate of change of delta. So it is a slightly complex thing. It is known as a second order derivative, because जो आपका delta भी है वो एक static figure नहीं है. Means today if the option price, just because Nifty went up by 100 points, today if your option went by 50-60 points, does not mean that tomorrow also if Nifty moves 100 points, your option will move by 60 points. आपका जो डेल्टा भी है वो चेंज होते रहता है मार्केट के साथ. सो द रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ डेल्टा इज नोन एज गैमा. इसको हम लोग सेकंड ऑर्डर डेरिवेटिव पे कहते हैं. देन वी हैव अ फैक्टर नोन एज टीटा. टीटा इज नथिंग बट रेट ऑफ डीके ऑफ एन ऑप्शन प्राइस. तो हर एक ऑप्शन का एक जो ऑप्शन बायर रहता है, he has to pay a price for taking a position. It is almost like an interest which is paid to the option seller. तो ब्याज की तरह रहता है ये, which is paid to the option seller, and with each passing day the option price reduces if there is no major change in the price fluctuation. So theta is a factor which positively affects an option seller and it negatively affects an option buyer. तो जो ऑप्शन बाय करते हैं उनके लिए ये नेगेटिव रहता है थीटा का जो वैल्यू, क्योंकि हर एक दिन के साथ आपका ऑप्शन का प्राइस थोड़ा थोड़ा कम होते जाता है. The reason for this, at the start of the series you have a lot of days to get your view right. मतलब suppose at the start of a weekly expiry आपके पास 5 ट्रेडिंग डे है आपका व्यू सही होने के लिए, but with each passing day the number of days reduces for you to get your view right. So that is known as theta. It acts as an interest component for an option buyer, and the premium goes to the option seller. दी नेक्स्ट इज वेगा, जो वॉलिटिलिटी है. जैसे कि हम लोग इलेक्शंस के पास आते जा रहे हैं, ग्रेजुअली वी आर कमिंग टुवर्ड्स द इलेक्शन मंथ. इन द नेक्स्ट फ्यू मंथ्स विल हैव द इलेक्शन. तो जो वॉलिटिलिटी है मार्केट में, वी आर सीइंग दैट द वॉलिटिलिटी इज ग्रेजुअली इंक्रीजिंग. Previously we used to see 60-80 points of price action in Nifty in many days, but now 200-300 point price action is a common thing in Nifty. मतलब it is a very common thing to see 200 point price change. So the volatility in the market is gradually increasing, and as the volatility increases in the market, the price of the options also increases. जो ऑप्शन बेच रहा है उसको रिस्क भी तो है, क्योंकि इतना अगर वॉलेटाइल मार्केट है, the option seller will like to charge a higher premium when he is doing the option transaction. So the cost of the options goes up when the volatility in the market increases. So जैसे जैसे volatility बढ़ता है मार्केट में, वैसे ही ऑप्शन का प्राइस भी बढ़ता है मार्केट में. So that is understanding of वेगा. volatility, जितना volatility बढ़ता है उतना ऑप्शन का प्राइस भी बढ़ता है. The next is interest rate. जो रो का जो मैं कंपोनेंट है, that is known as interest rate. So interest rate has very little impact on an option price, क्योंकि अगर इंटरेस्ट रेट सिर्फ सडन स्पाइक हो जाता है फ्रॉम 5-6% all the way to 10-15% in a very short time, then it could have a bit of impact on the option price and option pricing. But for weekly options, monthly options, interest rate का कोई major impact नहीं है, and it should not have a major we should not put any major focus on interest rate changes affecting the price of an option. So these are the major factors which affect the price of an option. आज के सेशन में मैं दो इंडिकेटर्स के बारे में, दो फैक्टर्स के बारे में बात करना चाहूंगा, दैट इज डेल्टा एंड टीटा. सो मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, तो ये सारे जो है ये करंट ऑप्शन चेन है, एंड आप ऑप्शन चेन के सामने आप वेरियस ऑप्शन ग्रीक्स को भी चेक कर सकते हो कितना कितना चेंज है. सो ईच एंड एवरी स्ट्राइक प्राइस हैज ऑल द ऑप्शन ग्रीक्स एसोसिएटेड विद इट. तो हर एक स्ट्राइक के साथ अलग अलग डेल्टा का वैल्यू रहेगा, अलग टीटा का वैल्यू रहेगा, अलग वेगा का वैल्यू रहेगा. कितना वो फैक्टर्स वो पर्टिकुलर स्ट्राइक प्राइस को इन्फ्लुएंस कर रहा है, ये सारा डेटा हर एक ऑप्शन ग्रीक आपको देता है. सो अगर आप ये करंट ऑप्शन चेन देख पा रहे हैं, सो इफ यू आर एबल टू सी इट, जो डेल्टा का, सो आई जस्ट स्टार्ट वंस अगेन फ्रॉम द एब्सोल्यूट बेसिक्स रिगार्डिंग डेल्टा. सो जितना आपका कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर है, इट विल हेल्प यू इन द लॉन्ग रन इन ट्रेडिंग. तो जो डेल्टा का जो वैल्यू रहता है, दैट बी इज बिटवीन 0 and 1. अगर आप कॉल ऑप्शन का, कोई भी कॉल ऑप्शन का डेल्टा देखोगे, दैट बी इज बिटवीन 0 and 1. तो 1 जितना नजदीक रहता है, क्लोजर टुवर्ड्स 1, इसका ये मतलब है कि निफ्टी अगर 1 पॉइंट से मूव होगा तो आपका ऑप्शन भी 1 पॉइंट से मूव होने का चांस है. दैट इज द बेसिक मूव अंडरस्टैंडिंग, दैट अगर एक ऑप्शन का डेल्टा 1 है तो निफ्टी कितने मूव में प्राइस से चेंज होता है, उतना ऑप्शन का प्राइस भी चेंज होगा. बट दैट इज फॉर वेरी डीप इन द मनी कॉल ऑप्शंस. जनरली जो हम लोग देखते हैं एट द मनी, अगर एट द मनी आप चेक करोगे, जनरली उसका डेल्टा जो रहता है, जनरली इट बी 0.4 से 0.5 0.6 के आसपास रहता है. सो 0.4 to 0.6 इज जनरली दी डेल्टा ऑफ एट द मनी ऑप्शंस. इसका ये मतलब है कि अगर निफ्टी कल 100, मान लो 21,900, अगर हम लोग लाइव एग्जांपल लेते हैं, तो 21,900 जो स्लाइटली आउट ऑफ द मनी है इन टर्म्स ऑफ स्पॉट प्राइसेस, स्पॉट चल रहा है लगभग 21,840 830. और अगर आप फ्यूचर्स के बारे में अगर देखोगे तो इट इज एट द मनी, बट इन कंपैरिजन टू कैश 21,900 is slightly out of the money. So 21,900 has a delta of 0.38. अगर आप चेक कर पाते हो, 21,900 का कॉल ऑप्शन का डेल्टा जो है, that is 0.38. What it basically means, when the current spot price is at 21,820 830 levels, अगर कल निफ्टी में एक 100 पॉइंट्स की मूवमेंट आती है, कल सुबह सुबह एक 100 पॉइंट्स की मूवमेंट आ जाती है मार्केट में, तो फिर ये 21,900 का कॉल ऑप्शन विल मूव बाय अप्रोक्सीमेटली 38 to 40 पॉइंट्स ऑन द अपसाइड इन टुमारोज ट्रेडिंग सेशन. तो कल के सेशन में देयर कुड बी अ मूवमेंट ऑफ 40 पॉइंट्स ऑन द अपसाइड, 38 पॉइंट्स to 40 पॉइंट्स ऑन द अपसाइड. इफ देयर इज अ 100 पॉइंट मूवमेंट इन निफ्टी, इट कैन ऑल्सो बी यूज्ड इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रोबेबिलिटी. मतलब अगर डेल्टा एक पर्टिकुलर स्ट्राइक प्राइस का 0.38 है, व्हाट इट मीन्स इज there is a 38% chance that tomorrow that market which is currently at 21,830 840 level spot mein, well, I'll just have to check the exact closing, but that's where approximately the spot closing is. So in tomorrow's trading session, ye kal ke expiry ke hisab se hai, so there is a 38% chance nifty kal 21,900 के strike price के ऊपर बंद देगा. that is the probability of success. And if you go towards deep out of the money, जैसे कि 22,200 22,400, आप देखोगे कि उसका डेल्टा रहेगा 0.01 0.02. सो डेल्टा ऑल्सो गिव्स यू प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ सक्सेस. मतलब वो ये भी कहता है कि कितना चांस है एक पर्टिकुलर स्ट्राइक प्राइस का एट द टाइम ऑफ एक्सपायरी टू क्लोज इन द मनी. So if the delta is 0.01, that means there is just 1% chance that the option price will close in the money at the time of expiry. So अगर आप मान लो अगर आप कल उठ के 22,500 का कॉल ऑप्शन बाय करोगे, जबकि स्पॉट चल रहा है 21,800 850 के पास, दैट मीन्स देयर विल जस्ट बी 1 or 2% चांस कि आपका ऑप्शन प्राइस जो है एट द मनी, आउट ऑफ द मनी से इन द मनी होने का. सो डेल्टा ऑल्सो गिव्स यू अ वेरी गुड अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ सक्सेस. मतलब जो आपने स्ट्राइक प्राइस बाय किया है उसका कितना प्रोबेबिलिटी है कि वो एट द टाइम ऑफ एक्सपायरी, मतलब लास्ट थर्सडे ऑफ द वीक, कितना चांस है उसका टू क्लोज इन द मनी. सो दैट इज व्हाट इज बेसिकली टोल्ड बाय डेल्टा एज वेल. डेल्टा ये भी कहता है कि कितने से मूवमेंट होगा, एंड इट ऑल्सो गिव्स यू एन गुड अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ सक्सेस ऑफ क्लोजिंग इन द मनी एट द टाइम ऑफ एक्सपायरी. So at present, 21,900 call option has a 38% chance of closing in the money in tomorrow's expiry session. Moving towards the next concept, that is theta. जो है theta, जो मैंने कहा था, it is known as a friend of an option seller and it is an enemy of the option buyer. इसका रीजन है कि हर एक ट्रेडिंग डे के साथ थीटा वैल्यू इरोड होता है ऑप्शन प्राइस से एंड द प्राइस कम्स डाउन. तो अगर आप मान लो कि 21,000 इसमें स्ट्राइक प्राइस में 21,900 का कॉल और पुट, दोनों स्ट्राइक प्राइसेस का जो टीटा वैल्यू जो है, अगर आप ऑप्शन प्राइस देखोगे लगभग सपोज 50 रुपीज है, मान लो फॉर थियोरेटिकल रीजन लेट्स टेक द प्राइस ऑफ 21,900 call option as 50 rupees, 38 rupees almost, I mean suppose you take it, it's going to be out of the money. So the option price जो है पूरा का पूरा 38 rupees, 35 38 rupees is the time value, and if tomorrow's trading session the index closes at 21,900 itself, at the money पे ही बंद होता है, then the entire option premium will be eroded. मतलब कल के सेशन में पूरा का जो पूरा वैल्यू जो है 21,900 कॉल ऑप्शन का, इट इज करंटली इट इज टाइम वैल्यू, इट डज नॉट हैव इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू, क्योंकि जो स्पॉट लेवल है उसके नीचे है. जो एक्सपायरी जो होता है, दी कैलकुलेशन जो होता है, आपको जो इतना पे आउट या पे इन होने वाला है, दैट इज बेस्ड ऑन द स्पॉट प्राइसेस. स्पॉट किधर बंद होता है उस हिसाब से आपको पता चलता है कि आपका जो ऑप्शन है वो इन द मनी है, एट द मनी है, या डीप out of the money. So at present the 21,900 is out of the money because spot का prices उसके नीचे है, and वो particular strike prices का प्रीमियम जो है it is completely time value. तो कल के सेशन में अगर मार्केट 21,900 के नीचे बंद होता है, then the entire time value, because the day is over, उतना टाइम वैल्यू है कल का सेशन का, you have that much is the price that you are paying for getting the view right. मतलब आप 35 रुपीज जो भर रहे हो 21,900 का कॉल ऑप्शन लेने का, यू हैव वन पर्टिकुलर ट्रेडिंग डे टू गेट योर व्यू राइट, वेर इन यू एक्सपेक्ट द मार्केट्स टू क्लोज अबाउट 21,900. So theta you can take it as the interest that you pay to the seller to take the position in the derivative segment and to get your view right within the limited time period. So with each passing day, theta reduces and the option price comes down. To understand it in a much more simple manner, let's take that you take a position on Friday. कल फ्राइडे के सेशन, that is the first trading day of the expiry. Suppose you take a position of 22,000 call option जिसका प्रीमियम है 100 रुपीज. So you have 5 trading days to get your view right. आपके पास 5 trading day, no, so next week there is just 3 trading sessions because Monday and Friday is a holiday. So you just have 3 trading sessions to get your view right. So suppose you buy the 22,200 call option, the entire premium that you pay is to get your view right by the time of expiry. So जो पूरा का पूरा जो रहेगा, more or less it is going to be time value, and with each passing day there is going to be a sharp reduction in time value, because generally you have 5 days to get your view right, but here you just have 3 days to get your view right. So with each passing session, हर एक सेशन खत्म होने के बाद there is going to be a drastic reduction in theta values, because 3 days के अंदर ये ऑप्शन साफ होने वाला है. It is either the market closes above 22,000 at the time of expiry, or it does not close about 22,000 at the time of expiry. So that's the basic understanding of theta. Theta is basically a friend of an option seller, and it is an enemy of an option buyer. दिस इज अ ब्रॉड समरी ऑफ द ऑप्शन ग्रीक्स. डेल्टा बेसिकली डायरेक्शन के बारे में है. जैसे कि मार्केट तेजी का है या मंदी का है. डेल्टा रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ market, the rate of change of option price with the change in market. Gamma is basically an acceleration of the option premium. Theta is time component, and vega is the volatility that we expect in the market. So these are the broad और द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट डेरिवेटिव इंडिकेटर. जैसे मैंने कहा था, इंटरेस्ट रेट का एक इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर नहीं है ऑप्शन के ट्रेडिंग में. सो दैट्स एन एंड ऑफ टुडेज सेशन. थैंक यू टू ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट्स. सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स को मैं थैंक यू कहना चाहूँगा फॉर हैविंग टेकन द टाइम आउट एंड अटेंडेड टुडेज सेशन. I hope I was able to convey the information in a simple manner. Whatever suggestions you have regarding to today's session, or whatever topics that you would like going forward, also you could request it to us. Now we could start with the Q&A session. Participants who have any queries regarding today's session, please do type it in the chat section. We'll be more than happy to take the Q&A. Thank you. Thank you to all the participants for providing their valuable suggestions. I'll take the suggestion also regarding that the chart may not be clearly visible. So definitely we'll see to that we keep less slides and we have higher the chart configuration is much more, so that even if you are viewing it on your mobile, it may be much more clear. So this suggestion also I'll definitely take it. If you have any questions regarding today's session, regarding anything regarding derivatives, please feel free to post your questions. Thank you. So we have a compliment from Girish. Thank you for the session. Thank you so much, sir. Your suggestions are extremely valuable to us. It gives us great pleasure to take multiple sessions. I'll see to that. Say this is the last session for the current financial year. I will keep multiple sessions in the next year as well. And if you have any suggestions, if you want to learn anything, and if I can make a complete presentation around it, I'd be more than happy to take a complete session. Thank you, sir. So how to track the change in open interest? There's a question. See, there are a lot of softwares now which give you the live chart of the OI. So they write from 9:15 till 3:30. There are a lot of softwares which will give you the actual pictorial formation. So if you do not want to buy or have not subscribed to any of these trading softwares, you can make use of our the NSE option chain as well. See, agar NSE option chain mein, you just basically every 15 minutes or half an hour, you just, if you are really that much into the markets, what you can do is in Excel, you can put it at 9:30, what is the OI of the at the money strike, at 10 a.m. what is the OI, or every 1 hour you can do it, and you can plot the graphical chart of it. The best way is to plot the OI change on your price action itself. So that will give you a good indication of actually where the markets are going and what is actually happening to the OI of the at the money strike prices, both call option and put option. So you know that if the markets are gradually increasing on the upside and the OI of the at the money call option is gradually reducing, that means traders जिन्होंने short positions बनाए थे, they are gradually closing out their positions. So that is an indication of short covering which is happening. Likewise, if the markets are falling, continuously falling, and the OI, the call option के side पे OI बढ़ रहा है, that means at the money के OI बढ़ रहा है, that's a negative thing, because traders are continuously shorting in the market and expecting the continuous downtrend to continue. So that's how you basically analyze the OI. And to track it, you can make use of any software. You can make use of the SBI Securities app as well. And you can make use, if you do not have, if you just want to use basic Excel also, that also will work fine. You should make the NSE website, NSE option chain itself provides a lot of data. The live OI is present. See, nowhere in the world the OI data is provided like to us in India. I agree there is a slight delay of about 2 to 3 minutes, but still this is also very good useful data. See, OI, all these derivative indicators, they are acting as a tool. There is no guarantee that if you just follow OI, you will get your view right. After following this, also your view may not go correct. But it definitely gives you added confidence when you're trading. It gives you what the others are trading, what Joe positions. It's not just about you. You having a view. You should also know what the rest of the participants are doing in the market. Just because you feel bullish does not mean the markets may go up or down. It is if the actual data price action conforms with the actual positions which are being built up in the market, that's the time when you will actually be rewarded for your view. So you make view, you make money when you have taken your position, and the rest of the participants also confirm with your view that the markets are going expected to go up or down. So that's about OI and OI interpretation. So that's about it. Thank you to all the participants once again for having taken the time out and attended today's session. I'll be having multiple sessions in the following weeks and months, and every month uh, we take below 0.7 for call writing and 1.1 as put writing. Yes, sir. So if you take the PCR figure, so basically the PCR is calculated as total put options divided by call options. So if you take the current option chain and you get a figure, so it cannot be individually for call writing and put writing. So I'll just explain it once again in a simple manner. So PCR figure will come out once you divide total put options divided by total call options. If the figure is somewhere like 0.7, like you have pointed out, it basically means that there is more call writing in the system in as compared to put option. But obvious, because the denominator is higher than the denominator, there is more call writing at the current juncture. At the current juncture also, live at the present market, Nifty PCR, if you see, is below 0.7. It is somewhere 0.6, 0.65 levels on the downside. So clearly in the system, there is more call writing. The call writing does not have to be in absolute at the money. It could be in slightly out of the money strike prices as well. But the view or the general consensus of the market participants is the market could remain on the downside in trade. Now tomorrow there could be a sudden sharp gap up and the PCR can completely be reversed. But at the current juncture, this is what the actual positions are, and this is what the actual PCR figure is telling you. Likewise, if the PCR value is above 1.1, 1.2, it means that the traders have a slightly more bullish view on the market. That is why there is more put writing in comparison to call writing. That's how you will get a figure of above 1.1, 1.2. When there is more put option activity in the market, that is selling of put options, not buying of put options. Like I mentioned, everything is from selling perspective. You may say for every buyer there is a seller, that's all fine, but all this data that we are analyzing is from the seller's perspective. So if you analyze in that way, if there is the PCR figure is below 0.7, it means there is more call writing in comparison to put writing. Likewise, if the PCR is more than 1.2, that means there is more put writing in comparison to call writing. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I think we could end today's session. Even if you have any questions, you could take it down. We would be having multiple sessions. Even if it is not related to the topic, you can in our next further sessions. I'll be more than happy to take all the question and answer sessions. Thank you so much once again. Have a great day. Thank you.